More than 50 people were killed and hundreds injured in the deadliest mass shooting in US history. And the left, which tells us to carry on as normal after every single Islamic terror attack, began screeching that we can't carry on as normal in this case and that new laws must be passed immediately.
Gun control now! Enough already! Grow the fuck up! The average person doesn't need a fucking machine gun! Enough already! Enough! Enough!
Yeah, the average person doesn't have a machine gun because they're already banned. Before the bodies were even cold, Hillary Clinton seized on the tragedy to push for silencers to be banned, despite the fact that a fully auto machine gun used by the killer literally melts silencers. This had nothing whatsoever to do with silencers. Put politics aside, tweeted Hillary, while she literally made it all about politics in the very same sentence. Listen, unless you've got a method of just spiriting away all the gun parts and all the guns in America in one single wish, more gun laws aren't gonna stop this. Unless the fully auto was purchased before 1986, highly unlikely, it was illegal anyway. Criminals and terrorists will find weapons whatever the law is because they don't abide by the law. The ISIS terrorists who carried out the Paris massacre were able to obtain semi-automatic weapons despite stringent gun control laws. Terrorists are stabbing people in France on an almost weekly basis. Do we ban knives? Last time I checked, mass murder was already illegal. Was this an Islamic terror attack carried out by a Muslim convert? Senior US officials say no, but ISIS itself says its own soldier carried out the massacre. But ISIS claims responsibility for everything. Now, that's not strictly true. As the Associated Press reports, ISIS is not known to have claimed any attacks to which it was not at least loosely linked. For example, the Edmonton attack yesterday when a Somali migrant struck police and pedestrians with a vehicle. ISIS didn't claim responsibility for that, despite the fact that the terrorists supported ISIS and had an ISIS flag in the vehicle. Others say ISIS is getting desperate and only claiming responsibility for the attack to compensate for huge losses on the battlefield. The shooter's family said they didn't talk to him much recently, but that he wasn't political or religious. But then again, ISIS did warn that the Las Vegas Strip was a target. And surely this can't be someone who just went postal on a whim. This was a well planned out, long distance attack that used an arsenal of weaponry and ammo. And who was the woman, described as Hispanic, that told concert goers they were about to die?
So there was a lady who pushed her way forward into the concert venue, into the first row, and she started messing with another lady and told us that we are all gonna die tonight.
Do you know why she was saying that? I mean, was this after the shots were fired, or?
It was about 45 minutes before the shots were actually fired, but then she was escorted out by security.
That doesn't fit with the authorities' claim that it was a lone wolf attack. What we do know is that the shooter, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, is white. So obviously that must mean all white people are to blame, right? Say the same people who will scream bloody murder when you talk about Islamic terrorism and accuse you of collectively demonizing all Muslims while they collectively demonize an entire race of people, despite the fact that the event, being a country music show, undoubtedly means that the vast majority of victims are white people, a fact that was celebrated by some on the far left, including this CBS exec who said she had no sympathy because most of the victims were Republicans.
It's the white supremacist patriarchy, stupid!
Yeah, because if I was a white supremacist, the first thing I'd target is that well-known non-white venue, a country music concert.
Gun control debates that don't include disarming an increasingly militarized police force are garbage.
Disarm the very people who stopped the massacre. Genius, mate. Genius.
Number of Americans killed on battlefields in all wars in history, 1,396,733. Killed by firearms in the US since 1968, 1,516,863. Let that sink in.
Number of unarmed civilians killed by governments in the 20th century alone, 262 million. Let that sink in. While Trump asked the country to unite, Vox responded with this: white American men are a bigger domestic terrorist threat than Muslim foreigners. 1. These figures don't include 9/11. 2. Try importing millions of Muslim migrants and then run the numbers again. 3. Most of the victims of this attack are white American men. Can't you at least hold off for 24 hours before exploiting this to advance your vitriolic, hateful, divisive racism? Oh, and by the way, Justin Trudeau responded to yesterday's Islamic terror attack in Edmonton by sharing a call to end white supremacy. Yes, that actually happened.
If you care about innocent people getting mowed down by a lunatic and think it should be harder to get guns, call your congressperson today.
Yeah, I cared about innocent people getting mowed down by a lunatic in Nice, Berlin, Stockholm, London, and Barcelona, and you all called me a racist. Some people are claiming this is the shooter attending an anti-Trump protest in Reno back in August wearing a pussy hat. It doesn't look like him, so it's almost certainly BS. Maybe when everything shakes out, the true horror behind this massacre will be even more senseless than if the culprit were a left-wing or right-wing radical or an Islamic terrorist. God forbid, the real explanation could be something that doesn't confirm your pre-existing worldview. It could just be a wanton, bloodthirsty, mindless act of evil. And that kind of evil can't be explained away in tweets or remedied by passing laws. It's a permanent existential facet of living on planet Earth, and it will be until the bitter end. I'll leave you with this. Mike McGarry threw himself on top of his children as the shots rang out. They're 20, I'm 53. I lived a good life. Please give generously to the family members of the victims of this horror via the link in the description below. Please click the big red button to subscribe. It really helps me when you do that, and click the bell to allow notifications so you never miss a new video.